Hey everybody, welcome back again for another MedTech 67 video. Sorry it's been a while, but it got kind of hot and crazy there for a little while. But luckily, I got some help back in the shop again. The disgruntled Marine is back. He's decided he's done working on diesels, so he's back to help me out in the shop, so you'll see him here in this video. Today we're doing leaf springs on the back of a 2017 Ford Transit T250. This one has the 3.7 naturally aspirated in it. And these ambulances, they're made by Miller Coach, so they're a bit heavier in the back than our other ambulances in the fleet. This one has right around 120,000 miles on it. Its sister ambulance has about 20,000 more, was complaining of a rough ride in the back, and even after replacing the shocks and making sure everything was good with the suspension, it was just still riding really rough, and I noticed that it was sitting lower than my other T250s that are lighter in the back. So the springs had sagged a bit, and they were just hit. I noticed that there was a lot of shiny spots on the bump stops, so it had been bottoming out a lot. So if you frequently carry a whole lot of weight in the back of your T250, and after a while it just seems like it rides a lot rougher than it used to, it's probably because you need rear leaf springs. We'll show you the design on these leaf springs, about how, in my opinion, they're kind of flawed. There's other vehicles in history that have had the exact same problem as this, and I'll kind of walk you through it. But first, we're going to get started with getting the wheels off. Before you get started, you will need new leaf spring U-bolts, nuts. They want you to replace the big bolts. I'm not going to be replacing those. Those things are huge. They're not torque to yield. The torque on them isn't even that much, and they're almost impossible to get a hold of right now in our year 2 of pandemic shortages. So those will not get replaced, but you'll need some stands. You can do this in your driveway with a floor jack and a set of jack stands. We're only going to undo one side at a time, and we'll be supporting it with a stand while we do it. But you also want a ratchet strap, something to help pull that rear end, front and back a little bit to get it to drop back into its alignment dowel that is on the axle and is on the leaf spring. So let's get started. We're going to get this wheel off. So before we get started on that, just a quick question for all my viewers out there. Do you guys want a toolbox tour? Do you guys want to see the tools that I have found handy in this career, and especially on the transits and stuff like that? If so, leave me a comment below if you'd like to see a toolbox tour. If I see enough of it, I'll make time to do it. And I'm also not going to do a review on every single tool I hold up in front of you. I will ask if you guys want reviews on any of the tools that I show, and whatever shows up, I'll do a review on. So it'll be just a quick and dirty toolbox tour. I don't know. I just kind of feel weird doing it because I feel like a pompous prick trying to show off, oh, look at the nice big toolbox I have. But if you guys want to see the tools that I have, by all means, put it in the comments below and we'll do one. So let's get over there to those leaf springs. Hey, it's Harrison from the future. Before you get started on this, you're going to need a torque wrench that goes down to 18 and a torque wrench that goes up to 203. And if you're like me, you're going to have to make a torque wrench change in the middle of the ridiculous torque sequence for the U-bolts. You're also going to need sockets as big as a 24. So you're going to need a 15, 18, 21, and a 24. You're going to need some extensions and stuff like that. So before you get started on this, make sure you have all that, or you're going to kind of be hosed if you want to do it the right way. Before we go any further, I'll show you the lights that we'll be using today. One of them is a little Matco wireless rechargeable light. You'll be seeing it mounted up in here, helping give me some more light. And the other one is my new favorite. It's replacing the old faithful Harbor Freight $17 light. This is from Streamlight. This is their switchblade. It's got lights on both sides, and it's got a UV light to determine how nasty your hotel room is before you go in, and you can use it to look for AC leaks. But you'll be seeing these two today. I really like these lights. I've had them for a while now. I've had them since when my last video came out, so it's been a while. And I love them, and I'm definitely not going back to the Harbor Freight light. Even though they're a good light, these things last way longer, they're way brighter, and they're way tougher. So, but that Harbor Freight light's a great deal. I'm not down talking it one bit. It's a great light. We've used them for quite a while. Alright, let's bring you in here. As you can see, our axle is held on with just 2 simple U-bolts that don't actually go all the way around the axle. They did it backwards for some reason. All we have to do is we have to support this axle right here. You're going to take out this bottom shock bolt, which is a 15 and an 18, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And these two right here, which are 21s or 22s, I can't remember, but we'll see here in just a second. We're just going to take these out. We're going to take out our front and rear bolt, and then we're going to slide this leaf spring right out the back. It is a tight squeeze. You do have to drop this down pretty far, but we'll see. It's not that difficult, and it's pretty simple. Right, proper torture test. Ooh, that's hot. Alright, now we can allow this to drop down a bit. And we just want to keep it right underneath it. You guys see that alright? Get you in frame a little bit better. Now we can go ahead and zip out our U-bolts. Alright, you're just going to have to give them a knock on the back side to get them to pop up. Just needed more cowbell. All these parts are going to need to be cleaned. We're going to need to clean out these bore holes before anything goes back together. There can't be any dirt between these when we tighten these down, because that dirt gets in there, it'll grind back and forth even after you tighten it, and it'll loosen up, and the last thing you want is to lose the tight relationship between you and your axle. That falling out will be a painful one. So we're pretty much going to let this drop down as far as it's going to go. It'll kind of get to a point where it's kind of like a light on the jack. You just want to stop there. You don't want to twist the other spring and mount too much, but we want to make as much room as we can to get that leaf spring out. As you can see, we can go down pretty far, but now it's a light on the jack. You can see I can twist my block with almost no weight on it. We don't want to let all the weight hang. We don't want to pull the drive shaft back too much, even though it's got a slip joint. But right about there should give us all the room we need to get this axle to slide right out the back door. This might be a little bit harder on the extended cargo ones. I'm not sure. We don't have any in the fleet, so keep that in mind if you've got one of those when you do it. Now we're just going to take out this front and rear bolt and get you guys a better vantage point on that, and that leaf spring is ready to be delivered. Alright, I shot a little PB on there just to hopefully make our life go a little bit simpler. Now we're just going to I could use your wrench extender here. Tyler's got a wrench extender from Matco that I really need to get. I just keep borrowing his like a true dirtbag.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, check out this bad mamma jamma. Nice, comfortable handle. And if you put it on the right direction, it works great. There we go. Now we're talking. Yeah. Now you're gonna basically unscrew this thing all the way out. Alright, I'm not going to take it all the way out because I don't want it to drop yet, but it's pretty loose in there now. We're going to go ahead and get the front. I'm not going to bother showing you that. It's pretty simple. It's basically the same thing we did back here, so we're just going to move on. Alright, so we got the front one loose. By the way, it's a 21 millimeter on the inside and a 24 on the outside. So it's loose. It's basically just hanging in there real loosely. So we're gonna have Tyler hop in here on the back side. I'm gonna undo the front. And we're gonna pass it out his way. Slide back. You're gonna kind of shift over a little bit and it slides right out the back. All right, now we're gonna take the time to clean up these mounting surfaces real good, like I said, and then we'll get our new bolts and we'll pop it in there. Check this out. Got a cameraman. That's a new one for me. We're just going to clean up the surface real quick. It's got a flap wheel. You could do this with a piece of sandpaper and a hand block. You don't necessarily have to have this. You could do it with a little bit of light work from the angle grinder. We just want to get all this rusty scale off of here. We want this to be a nice, flat, smooth finish so that new wear plate mates with it really well. As you can see by the amount of dust in here, there's a lot of rust built up on top of that. So we're going to hit this right here with just a thin layer of fluid film or grease or something to keep it from rusting in the future, and to make sure that we get good contact between the wear plate and this guy right here. I'll show you what I mean here in a little bit by the wear plate. You'll notice probably when you take yours out, there's a lot of like paint taken off right here from your old spring. For some reason, the new springs, the bushings are spaced back from the factory ones. I don't know if newer models might necessarily have this or not, but we're just gonna clean this up real quick, get this gunk off of here. There's a little bit of a rough edge I'm gonna knock down. I'm not gonna show that here, but just make sure that both points where the leaf springs go, that it's nice and clean in there, and just throw just a thin film of grease in there. That'll help it slide right in there, because that leaf spring's heavy. If you're doing this by yourself, it really sucks trying to get it in there by yourself. So we're gonna do that real quick. We're gonna go in the way it came out. We're gonna kind of rock it over on its side, go up into this little channel that we have, and then flip it up and slide it the rest of the way in the spot. We're gonna try our best not to occlude you. Real quick. All right, the leaf spring is labeled, the new one, just in case it's not. The big eyelet, it's much bigger than the back one, goes in the front. So we're just gonna shoehorn her up in here. As soon as he's up there, we're gonna roll up on its side and then pick it up a little bit there. All right, first thing you want to do is get your bolts in. Don't try to worry about getting it on the axle yet. Get your bolts in. Like I said, we are reusing the hardware for the front and rear shackle, just because I can't get these right now. They were like 2 weeks out. They're a nylock up front and a mechanical locker in the back. So if you do have to reuse these, I recommend that you wire brush them, clean them off with brake fluid if there's anything on them, and then just put a dab of blue Loctite on there, and I don't think you're gonna have a problem. And now you're gonna notice, oh, did we get lucky? Oh, we got so lucky. I'm telling you right now, it's probably not gonna go that way for you. That shackle is mounted on a rubber bushing, and it just dropped right in for us. So you might need to grab a pry bar and shove that shackle front or rear and get it to line up right. All right, so we got new U-bolts and nuts. I'll put the part number in the description, but here they are. The nuts for the U-bolts are a Whiskey 703529-Sierra 437. You're going to need 8 of those. And then the U-bolts are a Charlie Kilo 4 Zulu 5705 Alpha. You will need 4 of these. And they took forever for me to get to the dealership, so order them now if you think you're doing this job, because it's probably going to be a while before you're able to do it. Alright, so we're going to see if we end up needing our ratchet strap here in a bit. The reason why you want to leave this leaf spring loose is you have some wiggle room to play with. But you can see here, there's a dowel. And that dowel has to go into that hole right there. That's what centers your thrust angle. If you don't get this lined up right, your truck's going to dog track. So we're just going to bring up our jack. Looks like we just push the leaf spring over them and get lucky and not need a daggum ratchet strap. And it looks like it's going to go right into the hole. Alright, we're lucky. So we got our block nice and cleaned up. And then we bring in our U-bolts. These guys can be a bit of a bear to get in sometimes. Man, everything I'm saying is being difficult in this video, is making me a liar. Alright, so for your rear shock bolt that goes through the bottom, the torque on that guy is 81 foot-pounds. And now to the U-bolts that hold on your axle here. Alright, so we need to make sure we have a equal amount of threads exposed on each U-bolt. I can tell right now I need to back this one off and tighten that one up, and we're pretty good up front, but you want to count the threads, make sure it's equal as possible. That way we're not bending that bolt and possibly causing a stress fracture. So the first stage, we're going to tighten them all to 18 foot-pounds. The second stage, we're going to go to 37. Third stage, we're going to go to 55. Fourth stage, we're going to go to 74. Fifth stage, we're going to go to 92 all the way around. Stage 6, 111. And sweet baby Jesus, stage 7, we're going to go to 129 foot-pounds. If that seems excessive, it's well, it's because it is. It is. And there is a torque sequence, which I can't show you, but I'll graph it out there on the screen. How about that? Because technically this is copyright. We're going to get started on that. We're going to fast forward through this because I don't think anybody wants to see me tighten 7 stages. But I'll give you a fast forward version of it. How about that? Alright, again, before we go, it is the stages in order: 18, 37, 55, 74, 92, 111, then 129. Also, if you need any lottery numbers, there you go. But this is not financial advice. Let's get to it. So the first one's 18. All right, it's done, folks. Well, I mean, that stupidly long torque sequence is done. Now we have to tighten the front and rear, which I'll tell you that here in a second. All right, so for this guy, we're going 203 foot-pounds. We'll run this guy on down. We left it loose. All right. 203 sounds like a lot, but it's not too bad. Mother pearl! Holy shit. Alright. I'm gonna go lay down and cry. Alright, we're doing 129 back here. Thank God. Alright guys, so that's all of one side done. After this, you pop your old wheel on, torque it to 145 foot-pounds. I'm not going to bother showing both sides. It's literally the exact same process, just mirrored on both sides. I don't need to make the video that long and boring. So if this helped you out, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.